Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to a week in my teacher life. My name is Beth and I teach 3rd and 4th grade in the same room at the same time in my small little school in Missouri. So today for math, we just did rounding numbers and I just did this as a whole group. We made number lines and they were able to practice that, but I do think tomorrow we're going to take more time and do the rounding, whether we're playing a game or we're doing something a little bit more hands-on, just so they get the concept. And sorry, I'm gonna have to like be a little bit rushed, but I'll make sure to sum you all up later if I don't get to it. So after math we go to specials, and today's special was art. And then, so for science today, we were making a foldable talking about the 3 main points that we talked about in lesson 1 for solar system. And so that was Earth's rotation, Earth's axis, and Earth's revolution. And the kids are just writing down like what they find in their notes to be like a study guide for them to take home and study for their quiz on Thursday or Wednesday, one of those days. I am planning on doing a craft with them where they're going to cut out a sun and then the earth, and it's going to have like the golden brads where they can spin it so they can see the difference between a revolution and how the earth rotates. So that's going to be the craft they're going to do for science. Rep time, I'm really going to have to get on it because I need time to pull kids to do that intervention, and I'm just not getting it. So something I'm going to put on the Make Tonight on Google Slides. Follow me on Instagram and I will walk you through what I'm going to do. But I am going to just create a slide that says during rep time I must, I'm going to have a list that they're supposed to get done, and then after they get done with that, then they can do I choose, and they can have an activity as long as they're being quiet. So that way I know I'm making sure I'm getting cursive done and that I'm getting kids pulled to work on phonics, and it's just some little extra math intervention that needs to get done. We did jump into our new reading that we're doing, so I'm just using the McGraw or the Houghton Mifflin series, and it's just the reading series. I kind of like it. And so I did 4th grade first, and we talked about journeys that we've been on and kind of like brainstormed and read about the background of dog sledding and how it's important to do checkpoints and meet up. And the kids seem really excited. They already started talking about Balto, which is something we're going to dive into even more and kind of make connections between Akiak and Balto and kind of do a comparison. And that'll be like our first paper, is a compare and contrast of the 2 sled dogs. We took the pretest. I have them in for my data, so that's exciting. And then I flipped over to 3rd grade and we talked about adventures. They gave me scenarios. I gave them scenarios to kind of get that schema being built in. And yeah, that's what happened today. And then we went to recess. I came back. I worked with 4th grade with their interactive notebooks doing the continents. So we got through North America, South America, Africa, and Asia, and we talked about, their reading kind of connected into South America because it talked about the fable of the paca and the beetle, and it's just their version of the tortoise and the hare. And so we talked about Brazil, and we talked about the rainforest, which is currently burning by the miles. And so my heart just goes out to those men or women who are fighting to, you know, get that under control and to try to save what we have left, because there's not much left of the rainforest. And so we kind of talked about that, and the kids were like totally into it. And I used Google Earth to kind of zoom in so they can kind of see how that was done. like so they can like really see that yes, this is a real place. I also talked about North America being 3 different countries since it is where they live. So we talked about Canada, and then North America, and then Mexico. And then tomorrow we're going to cover the other continents, so Europe, Australia, and Antarctica. So the main project I'm going to have, they're going to probably be starting next week. Hopefully by Friday we can get it started because it's going to need to dry. So we're going to do the paper mache globe. So they're going to get a balloon, we're going to do paper mache, we're going to let it dry over the weekend next week. And then while it's drying, once they get that part done, and I may have them have it done by Thursday, so Friday they can color their countries, or they may even, depending on how the paper mache turns out, because sometimes it doesn't turn out so well, and I may just be like my proportions of whatever it is. And so they are going to get to do paper mache, and it just depends on if the paper mache turns out okay. I may just have the kids lightly draw the continents on and then paint, or I may just have them get construction paper and then put it, like glue it down after they get done painting them. My 3rd graders we're going to work on, we're just still trekking with Missouri. We're just not getting very far. So tomorrow we're going to talk about the regions of Missouri and the mountain ranges and the rivers, which is going to lead to their Salt Doe, Missouri, like structures, I guess. And so that's what they will be doing, probably not till next week. So yeah, I'm kind of excited because we need to talk about the major cities, we need to talk about the rivers, we need to talk about monuments that are in Missouri before we can even get to that, because it's going to be a big process. But that's what took us to the end of the day. Not really sure what else to tell you besides it was a good day. Yeah, it was a good day. So tomorrow I can get here early because I don't have to take my son to the babysitter. So I can get here early. I have to grade, which I'm like, Google Classroom cannot come soon enough. Tablets cannot come soon enough because it's going to free up so much time. But it may take a while before we get there. So I'm hoping in the next 2 to 3 weeks we get the tablets, because right now I have to like put constraints on who has the tablets when. If you don't know, I have 2 tablets that were donated to my classroom through Donors Choose. Then I have a student computer. And I really thought about bringing a Chromebook, my own personal, for the kids to use, but I just don't know. I'm kind of iffy about it. I think if it's a big project, I'll bring it in, but if it's not, then I'm not going to worry about it. But yeah, so that's how my Monday went. We switched out jobs. I am going to end up, once we get done, the 4th graders reading our story about Akiak tomorrow, then I'm going to remove, let me show you, I'm going to remove these posters here, and I'm going to put a picture of Bolto, and then I'm also going to, the 3rd graders are going to be reading a story about, like, it's called Cliffhanger, and so like a boy who climbs a mountain. And so I think I'm going to try to find somebody who has climbed mountains and display their picture there and like have a little summary so the kids can go up and read about what they've done and how it relates back to the story. So that's just a fun little thing that I'm excited to do. We are still learning routines, and I think that's just one thing when you teach younger grades, it's got to be displayed. I'm going to put my kid size problem poster right, can't stretch, right up there. And then I'm going to do center expectations. It's going to go, so let me show you real quick. So center expectations is going to go right there, not by the clock, but like right there. And then my kid size problem poster is going to go right there. So my goal is to get here early enough. I did have one name fall off of my like my frames with the glass and bricks. So I'm really, really thankful for that. But I gotta get glued, and I have to get the kids' writing prompts so I can get their pictures in there for August, because it's the last week of August. But I am looking forward to the 3-day weekend that we're gonna have coming up. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this vlog for today, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday morning, and I got here pretty early because I had to run by the store to get my brass brads, like little connector things, and it turns out I have to leave school early today for a doctor's appointment. So I have to leave at 1, which means I'm gonna have to get some sub plans made up for the sub. So I don't know who's gonna be my sub, but it's gonna have to be what it's gonna be. So when I leave at 1, they're still in the reading workshop, and so I'm just going to give them their spelling worksheet, and then I may even make a word search for them to do, just to get them to recess. And then after recess, I will give, I really don't want the sub to have to do anymore, because I'm pretty sure that they'll be going to the 6th grade teacher. I think I'll let you know later when I find out. But she already has 2 classes, and so having 4 is going to be really overwhelming. So I'm just going to have stuff for them to do. I may do like a continent page for my 4th graders to get done, and then have something for the 3rd graders to work on. Something to keep them busy. So I do have breakfast duty, which is why I'm here early also. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off here and go do that duty, and then I will see you guys at my plan. Good morning, everybody. So it is Wednesday, and so I didn't get to vlog during my playing period because I had to get my sub plans done for the afternoon, which took me a little bit. So I went to my doctor's appointment, and I got some antibiotics for whatever was wrong, and I left the kids with some stuff to do. So yesterday during math, I didn't do a new lesson because I thought that they needed more practice with their place value, and so I'm just gonna be getting ready because I woke up late. So my hair is gonna be what it is. I'm just gonna throw it up into a messy bun with a little twist. So excuse me while I get ready and while I talk to you. So we just did a Keegan strategy, which was a fade and pick. And so if you don't know what a fade and pick is, so I just take a worksheet that has like 10 problems, and I cut them into strips, and the kids get the same worksheet. So one's for the strips and one's for them to record on. And so you have your group, and you have one person fan the cards, one person is going to pick and read, and then your next person is going to be like your recorder, which is going to be like monitoring when everyone's done, talking about the answers. And so when everybody has an answer, you go around and you share what answer you got, and if someone's answer doesn't match, you go back as a group and try to help them. So this was the first time that I did this with this group, and I think it's just going to take some practice. I think next time I'll just do one as a whole group so they can see it, because I didn't do that. And if you're curious, I was using the e.l.f. Pour This Putty Primer for my primer today. First time I'm using that, so we'll see how it is. And I forgot my sponge. It's okay. So I got the new CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made. It's supposed to be the kind that doesn't like transfer to clothing or anything. So I've already used this twice. With a brush and then with a wet sponge. I'm not really caring for it. So anyway, they did that, and I just work with the 3rd graders, and we got it done. They worked a little bit better than the 4th grade, so I think when I do it again, I'll work with the 4th grade, or like I said, I'll do like the whole group thing. I mean, yes, I'm using my hands. Hopefully I like the coverage better with this. It actually stays. So we completed that activity. They went to their special. We came back and we did a craft for science, and we finished our foldable for review. And so today they're going to be taking a quiz over rotation, evolution, seasons, that kind of thing. And then we're going to get started tomorrow on, I think, like the Earth and the Moon. So this was like Earth and Sun. Now we're going to do Earth and Moon starting tomorrow. And I'll show you the craft once I get done. I gotta really watch the time because I got breakfast to eat. So I'll show you that craft. And then really it was more of like rep time, which I did get the cursive to the kids. They did that. I pulled my first little group of kiddos for some phonics for rep time. This is just the Fit Me, just the powder, Prime and Poreless in color 100, because I'm mayonnaise white. I did try to bronze it. Touch of sun. Okay. And so I really didn't get to do a whole lot with them with their reading, so I just left it with the sub. And they were supposed to just read the story on their own anyway. So that's what they did, or were supposed to do, so we'll find out what happened today. And then, like, that was it. Like, I left extra math work with just some math facts. I left a state word search for the 4th grade. I did more spelling for the 3rd graders. So yeah, that's what happened. And we put some blush on. This is just from Wet n Wild. It's the Color Icon Ombre Blush. It's just like that. So I woke up late this morning. I wouldn't say late. I would say it was a late night. My son did not want to sleep. He wanted to be up. And so I was up. And so this is just the butter bronzer. It's from Physicians Formula in 6676. It's just the bronzer, just the regular one. It smells like coconut, so during the day, when times get rough, I'm like, oh, I wish I was on the beach or somewhere tropical. I could like kind of smell my face and be like, there I am. I don't really do that, but I like to think. Okay, almost done. I'm gonna do my eyes and my lips. I think I'll do that. Okay, so today, 3rd grade is gonna be working on place value to the hundreds place, and then 4th grade is working on like the 4-step word problems. So I may just put them into groups, and I gotta find, before I go down to breakfast, I'm gonna have to find some task cards. So 3rd grade will do tablets, task cards, while I work with the 4th graders first. Then we will switch. So I don't really have, it's just like a really weird, like these last couple units have been really weird to find a craft for. And so it's just been weird. Okay, so I'm gonna go with my eyes, and I've got this Thirsty palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, and I love his stuff. It's expensive, but it like I don't think I'll ever use another eyeshadow palette or any other palettes besides his because they're so good. And so I'm going to do that with the 4th grade, and then the 3rd graders will come back to me. We are starting our school-wide title today, so at 9:15 I'll lose a couple. And then right after specials I have my other 2 gone. So those 2 have to make up their science quiz later. So we'll read, for reading today, they're just going to read the story. We're going to read it together as a group. We're going to get that fluency going. They're going to do just like a follow-through story map type thing with me. Okay. Just trying to get this going. I feel like I do that. Whoa, really blurry. Can you see me? I think you can see me. There I am. I feel like I do the same eye look like every single day. But it works. I know, and I sometimes put some pop of color on my eyes, but done with that. And we'll do some social studies and some more spelling too. So I think I'm just going to revamp all my centers and get them started. Like I said, hopefully within the next month we get our iPads, and that will make life easier when it comes to that tech time. Okay, there you go. I don't know what was going on. You guys got really blurry for a second. So, for my eyes, I just used the Lacombe, like the big. And then for my lips, I just have a Wet n Wild color that I'll put on. Anywho, I'm going to throw my hair up into a messy bun and head downstairs for breakfast duty. And I will try to check in with you guys during specials and show you guys that craft and let you know how the centers went. Alright guys, so it's the end of the day. I'm feeling really good, and there's some changes coming. So, first of all, the lights are off because I don't know if we got new bulbs in our overhead lights, but they're killing my eyes. So, the lights stay off when I'm in here working just by myself, just because my eyes really hurt. So, did not get to take the science quiz today because not everybody was in the room. So, they're going to do that tomorrow. But I'm thinking about switching around my schedule. So, instead of doing math first hour of the day, or that first block of time, I'm going to go ahead and switch my reading and my math. Just flip it. So, they'll do the reading workshop the first half, then go to specials, and then come back and do science, go to lunch, come back, do rep time, and then do their math workshop until recess. And I think that's going to work better because I think they're going to get more focused. I think they need time. I think that's just how their schedule used to run before. And so I'm going to try it out. Every class is going to be different. So if you are in a situation where you're not really sure, just kind of watch and see how your kids are behaving and if they're going to be awake. If they're really alert in the morning time and like kind of like sluggish in the afternoon, you may want to do your more heavy content things while they're active and like their brain's going, and then leave the reading and stuff for the afternoon. Wow, this light is not very good. Let me move over here. Okay, So we got to read. The lighting's just making me look blotchy. Okay, so we got to read the stories today, and we got halfway through each one, which was on purpose because I didn't want to go super duper heavy on like their graphic organizers, and so we just read halfway through. We kind of left it at the climax of the stories. So the third graders are reading Cliffhanger, which is about a little boy whose dog gets left on a cliff, and so he has to like mountain climb up and save his dog. And so it talks about, and a storm's coming and the dog is scared and he has to climb this mountain. And so we're just talking about like, what would we do, and their skill is predictions. And so they made predictions about what might happen, and their predictions are coming true. Some of them they like modified halfway through, so that's been exciting to see. And the fourth grade story, oh my gosh, okay, I am in love with this story so far. It's about a dog sled team, and it's called Akiak, A-K-I-A-K. And yes, I did have to Google the pronunciation of the name because I had no clue how to say it, and that's just what Google gave me. And so it's just about an elder dog who's on its last run. It's going to be the last race that she's going to do. It just talks about her journey so far. And so the skill that the kids are using is summarizing. So we're doing a story map. We've located, identified the two main characters and the setting of it. And the dog sled race is the big one that goes from Anchorage, Alaska down to Nome, Alaska. I think it's Iditarod. I don't know. I probably need to Google translate that too. So we are loving the story. They didn't want to finish it, or they didn't want to end. They wanted to finish the story. And so I think what I'm going to do, so I'm not been like having super amount of time to do writing at the end of the day. So what I think I'm going to do is at the end, when we finish the story, we are going to start both stories. We are going to start brainstorming our own story. So the fourth graders are going to start, they're going to record a 5-day journal if they were the main character. They're going to give their dog sleds names. They're going to create their own race. They're going to talk about what could happen, and we're going to really like build up their stories so they are going to be nice and strong and vivid. And the third graders, I'm going to have them choose out of a bucket an adventure. So it may be a scuba diving adventure, it may be a theme park adventure, it may be even just out in their backyard. So we're just going to choose one, and we are going to write about it. Now we're going to do one as a class together, just the third graders. I'm just going to be modeling what it should look like for them. And so I'm really excited about that because we really haven't gotten to writing a whole lot, and writing is one of those things where you just have to find your touch and you have to find a connection. And so I think with these stories it's going to really help. And so the skills for today, the grammar skills with the story, was for the third graders, it was identifying a sentence and a fragment. And so they had to identify if this statement was a sentence or a fragment, and if it was a fragment they had to change it. And so we're having a little bit of trouble doing that. So I'm gonna make an anchor chart in the morning real quick because I have breakfast duty and I'm gonna get here a little bit later because I have to drop my son off at daycare. But I'm gonna really try, and I have paper at home, so I may just make it at home. I'm rambling, hang on, it's gone, my thought's gone. So I'm going to model some more how to fix fragments in the morning during our grammar time. And then the fourth graders, so I have this up here. Oh my God. Okay, let me flip it around. So I have these, I just got off of TPT, super rushed, but these are free products. I just put them on colored paper, and they, the fourth graders, we're learning about the different types of sentences. So there's declarative, imperative, interrogative, and exclamatory. And so they had to, their sentence was not complete. It did not have a punctuation at the end. So they had to read the sentences and decide based off the context which one they were supposed to use. So it was pretty good. I haven't graded it yet, but I think they did okay. So other than that, I did get continents done with 4th grade tomorrow. 3rd grade is going to do the Missouri history. We're going to talk about neighboring states and hopefully do some major cities. We may not even get that far, but we will eventually. It's not something they're going to be tested on, but they have to know it because we do live in the show me state. We have to really show our work. And so one goal I have for the rest of the week is to keep my goals updated because I have been slacking something awful. And so I'm going to be trying to change those out throughout the day and like give you sneak peeks when I do so I can keep myself accountable. So stay tuned. I may just do like a, just take some pictures on my phone and then put them on my Instagram account at Nona Morning Teacher. So I'm keeping myself accountable. So if you see a random thing with some goals on there or like I can statements, it's probably because I am trying to keep myself accountable for what my kids are learning. And it is hard when you have 2 classes. You really have to keep yourself organized. But that's the end of the day. Oh, no, I'm not forgetting. Hang on. Okay, so the science craft that we did. Let me show you. Okay, so this is the science craft that we did for the identifying revolution and rotation. And so all I did was I just went to Google and I Googled a clip art of the sun and the earth, and I just did 2 bars on a Google Slides. And then, so to make this, you just needed a sun, an earth, a short like paper rod, and a long paper strip, and then 2 brass brads. And so what you do is, let me just kind of set this down. Okay, so I have my sun, and you just take your long strip and you poke the brad through, and then I call it the splits, then you split the prongs, and then you take your smaller strip and you glue it to the back of the earth, and then you put a brass brad through that, and then you label it. So when the kids use these, you can move them 2 different ways. So to show a rotation, you only move the earth. And I would recommend, like next year, I think I will probably do this on cardstock so it's not so like, you know, wimpy. So this represents a rotation and it's labeled. So the earth moves in a rotation, and then for the revolution, you have it here, and it's, I don't know if I can do this. So the earth like revolves around the sun. So it just gives the kiddos a good visual about how the earth moves and how, like, the different ways it does. And like the quiz they're going to take tomorrow is super simple. I think it's just like 6 questions. And then we're going to move on to the earth and the moon. Or sun and the moon, earth and the moon, something. Okay. Can you see me? Am I too close? Oh no, oh, and look at that light. Man, I look mayonnaise today. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end this vlog. It's going to be a long night for me because I have a cheer meeting to go to at another school in our conference. And so, yeah, it's going to be a long night for me. Good thing I don't have anything else going on, right? Okay, so until tomorrow, I will see you then. Good morning, YouTube. So today is Thursday, and I did go ahead and switch my math and my reading workshops around, and it worked out perfect. The kids were so more engaged in the story. I even had one student say, like, I had just so much more energy. And so, oh, it's just so great. So this morning we just finished our stories. 3rd grade did a spelling page and started working on their characters and setting for their adventure stories. And then 4th grade we finished the story. They did some types of sentences work along with their spelling, and then they started on their journals, and they are so excited. And I think that they just thought that it was just going to be a paper that we would just write and I would grade and I'd turn back. But I was like, no, like, we are going to make a journal. Like, I'm going to make them look old and we're going to display them. And and they were like, you mean we're going to put them in your library? And I said, absolutely. If you write it, why not share it? Because that's what writers do. They write and they share what their thoughts and their dreams. And so that's what we're going to do. Probably won't get them done until like next week, but that's okay. Like, I am going to just extend my themes out an extra week just to get their writing down. We will talk about Bolto like next week too. And they like been begging me to watch the movie. I think it's too early to watch a movie in the school year. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna do that, but other than that, it's been a good day. We've had we're gonna do science when they come back, which we're gonna be talking about the Earth and the Moon and the moon phases. So they're just going to have a worksheet where they will fill in where the sun or where the moon, the different phases of the moon. And then that's like really it for that, for like the notes and things. So I think what I might do is just save the activity for tomorrow, so we have something to do for science. And then I might just put on a, like Bill Nye for today after notes is done. This afternoon, rep time, I'm gonna try to pull some kiddos for some math, because I haven't done any math with them. I've just been doing reading. And then we're going to do math. So math is going to be, fourth graders are going to be reviewing, which I'm going to try to find some task cards for them to play, or like some games to play to do those skills. So the first chapter is over place value, rounding, ordering, and comparing, and then some sort of like word problem, they call it the 4-step plan, and which is really hard for them to like grasp. So I don't know if I'm going to put all of those on the test or not. I may just like pick and choose which ones I put on there. But the word problems, they have to like take what they've already known about the different skills we've learned over the last 2 weeks and apply them to the word problems. So I think it's all just the reading. So I think if I were to like have just a small group take a portion of the test and like read the problems to them, it might help. So, and I'm here for the kids, so whatever they need, I'm going to give them to them. And then hopefully by the next test we can start to like just kind of not have to be so dependent, but kind of just get them where they can read the tests to themselves. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and put you guys down. Oh, and third grade will be doing social studies this afternoon. I'm going to try to get both third and fourth grade social studies done today. I think we'll have time. I think this is going to work out like the best. I think it's going to be the best thing ever. So I'm only going to get to vlog for like this much time this afternoon at the end of the day, just because I want to get home. But I will try to let you know how it went, and if I don't do it at school, I'll just do it when I get home. So I will see you then. Okay guys, so it is not Friday, it's actually Sunday. I just did not have time at all to pick up the camera for the last day of the week. So just to recap what I did and what we did as a class was, in science we went ahead and talked about the Earth and the Moon. And if you have not checked out Generation Genius, I would recommend it. I just signed up for the free 14-day trial, and the kids really liked it. They liked it better than Mystery Science, so I don't know. I'll kind of see and talk to see if maybe I can purchase that for the school year and just kind of see how it goes. For reading, we did our workshop, and so I just, with both groups, we talked about our stories and then broke out into our writing portions. And so I have my fourth graders are writing the sled dog journals for 5 days, and then my third graders are just writing a short adventure story that they would like to go on, just super short, for the third graders, because I think this is one of the more paper like things that they are doing with writing a story. So we're just going to take it slow and one day at a time with that, but they will finish them up this week. In math, we did their review packets, and I'm going to have to modify the tests a little bit. Place value is very hard, and I think it's not the best thing to start off with. If I'm just being honest, it's not the best thing to start off with, just because it's so new. And I am using my math, but I'm only using the student edition, so I'm not using like all the teachery type of things that most teachers would be using for it, so I don't really know on that end on if I'm missing something or not. And then didn't do a whole lot for social studies. I did do, I can't remember if it was Thursday I did it. Fourth graders did a continent match, continent ocean match, and then this coming week they'll be taking their test / quiz on if they know where they're located and their names, and if they pass it, then we start on the big project, the paper mache globe, on Friday, or close to Friday. And yeah, I think that's all we really accomplished. Then I'm sure we did more, I just can't remember what it is. So other than that, no school Monday, so I guess I will be seeing you guys on Tuesday. So if you liked what you've seen so far, go ahead and like my video and subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see you guys next week.